Greetings everyone, this is Fleet Admiral Alt Lexington, an engineering character from the Meriki Command Fleet Level 38. Today's video will be the first in a series of videos, just a few, involving the Temporal science vessel. I'm going to build it, bring its mastery up, and then perhaps get the fleet version afterwards. Excuse me. So let's go and buy the ship and get underway. I'm going to try not to make this video too long. So first things first, Starship and Shuttle requisitions, Tier 6. We'll start with the Zen Store one so we can get the trait. And there we go. Buy for 3,000 Zen. And then look in my inventory, and here it is. Let me just get rid of this junk. Okay, so the question is, what do we want to call the ship when we unpack it? Well, I'll look at my ship roster right now and see what I can call it. I've been using the Temporal battle cruiser before, and I named it Fearless 3, so the science vessel will be called Fearless 4. So it's rename, call it Fearless-4. Done. The next step is to actually select the ship in my roster, make it the active ship. I believe that's the one. There it is. Ready Starship. Looks like it comes with its own console, nanoprobe containment module, plus 6% exotic damage, plus 10 all damage resistance, area of effect dot, damage debuff, foe 1313.3 physical damage every 2 seconds for 20 seconds, 100% shield penetration, foe minus 50% all damage for 20 seconds, chance to apply nano probe, what's that, contagion field to up to 6 enemies within 3 kilometers. Chance increases every 2 seconds from 12.5% to 100%. Foe 1313.3 physical damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, 100% shield penetration. Foe minus 50 damage for 10 seconds, 2-minute recharge. Now, I don't think I'm going to be using this console because I'm not going to be building this per se as a science ship, since I'm an engineering character. All I want to do is just blow things up. I'm not really interested in how I blow them up. But for a science vessel, it does seem heavy on tactical console slots, and not heavy on the others. But still, now that the ship is ready, we can put my usual build on it. If I get out of people's way and go over here. Well, first of all, we remove the junk. And I've noticed it's only got 6 weapons. I suppose the science abilities would count as a 7th weapon, or an 8th weapon. Still, As I said, I'm not going to be using the console, so I'll put that there for now, and I'll just discard the junk. I haven't got a very good secondary deflector, because I don't often use science vessels that require a secondary deflector. There we go, that's got rid of all the junk. Well, the first things first, put on the ICO set. Iconium reputation set. And then I'll put on the only secondary deflector I've got, inhibiting secondary deflector, because I've got to put something there. And I'm going to put on my weapons next. I'm just going with a disruptor build. So we've got the Terran Task Force Reputation Disruptor and Coalition Disruptors. The Coalitions all have the same mods. This is a nice save. It reduces the cooldown on Science Team, Engineering Team and Tactical Team. We also need energy amplifiers if I've got any. If not, I'll have to make them. Make sure there's a nice stack of 20 on there. And red matter capacitor. And all we need is disruptor vulnerability locators if I've got enough. That's good. Conductive RCS with EPS mod. Bioneural for the crit severity and the hull heal. This provides shield heal and turn rate plus 100% power transfer rate. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, so I think I'm going to put on Leech, the assimilated module, and for now I'm just going to put on 2 shield drain consoles from the embassy. Just while I'm working out how I want to build this thing. This may change. Now with my traits, that trait came from the battle cruiser that I was using, and I was just trying it out, so I'm going to remove it for now and go back to my usual pedal to the metal trait. There it is. The other one is emergency weapon cycles, supremacy, numerical superiority, and peak efficiency. I'll just mouse over these and you can pause if you're interested in reading them. I don't want this video to be too long, that's why I'm kind of rushing through it. So now you know what traits I've got. And my skills, I put a fair bit of shield and hull healing and a bit of shield drain. So that's why I didn't max out tactical, but I did max out the ship's power levels. I've got all the temporal operative maxed out and the strategist maxed out, the two specialities I'll be using. And if you're interested, I don't often change my skills tree because it costs a token each time you retrain, and this skill tree has worked fine for me. Now for bridge officer stations, I expected this to be a science heavy ship because it is a science ship, but not much in the area of engineering. So first of all, we'll put on a superior Romulan operative. Where we can have Chemocyte 1, Beta, and Fire at Will. And another superior Romulan operative, where we can have Tactical Team. Next, we'll have a Hierarchy officer with the Pirate trait. Science Team Hazard Emitters. We'll go for Feedback Pulse 3 and Subspace Vortex 3. As I say, I'm not really building it as a science ship, even though it is a science ship. And we're going to make this an engineer, this universal station. And I've got a Nautican with pirate trait. Whoops, wrong officer went in there. Sometimes that happens. Got to put Tactical Team back on there. Okay, so this is where it gets a bit difficult with these engineering stations because there's not much to choose from. And for the other station, the other engineering station, I would put in a Kremen officer with efficient trait. She can have the shield polarity, and he can have engineering team, and that leaves room for a temporal ability of some sort. So if I look at her skills, I can change her to a temporal operative. Oh, hang on a minute. Did the game just crash? Yes, it did. So I'll just have to restart the game. Bear with me. This sometimes happens. Maybe I accidentally kicked a wire loose or something. I just just hope the game hasn't forgotten that I purchased that ship. It's coming. The screen goes dark a little bit when I load the game. It's coming. There we are. Let's give it a few moments to finish loading this instance. While I check to see if my recording is still running, which it is. That's good. And so let's continue. We were setting up the stations and we were going to choose a temporal ability. For my Kremen officer, I changed her to a temporal operative. Let's have a look. So it's going to have to be a number 1 ability, a level 1 ability. I could train her in these two, which I think I'm going to do. So that means running to the skills trainer to buy those skills. Temporal operative space. Look at what skills I have to buy. Where is it? There it is. That's my officer. And she needs the other 2 skills. Causal reversion, which is... where is it? There it is. Buy that. And the other one is Heisenberg amplifier. Buy that. So now that I've got those 2, they should have appeared in my inventory, which they have. The training manuals. So I can train this officer in these 2 abilities. Learn. And learn. Consume the manuals. So now she has all 4 temporal abilities, level 1, tier 1 temporal abilities. Do they call it a tier or level? I'll just run back to the awards where I was. And the question is, which skill will I select to put into that slot? Which skill will I select to put into this slot? Because now she's got all 4 of them. This one will give me hit points. This one is the default one, I believe, that is already unlocked when you first acquire the temporal operative specialization for an officer, for a bridge officer. And it does physical damage. This one does more physical damage by the looks of things. And this is an area of effect teleport. Ooh, I've already got a teleport on my ship from the specialization on myself, so I don't need it on a bridge officer. So I think we'll go with this one, entropic redistribution. Yes, because that looks like a damage one, whereas the other one is a heal, and the default one is not as much damage. So we go with that one. So that's the officer layout. Next I will switch off the visuals. Just checking everything, make sure all the visuals are switched off. And we can have a look at the mastery, which is enhanced exotic damage, of course, because it's a science ship, of course. Advanced shield systems, that's good, that'll help. Enhanced restorative circuitry, that's a hull and shield. Reactive shield technology, ooh, this ship's got some shielding. And the trait, once you've completed mastery, will be improved polarized hull. That is the main reason why I've got this ship. Because with improved polarized hull, whenever you use the where is it? Reverse shield polarity. Ah, no, I got this wrong. I thought it was going to enhance shield polarity, but actually it works with polarized hull. Well, that's fine. Polarizing your hull will enable you to withstand tractor beams and things. It's a science ability. Let's see if I've got it on one of my officers. I know I have somewhere. It would be this. This helps you resist tractor beams, and the trait with this ship improves that resistance. But I'm not going to run with polarized hull because I need these 4 science abilities. Because you basically on most builds you need 4 of each department. You need science team, hazard emitters, subspace vortex, and feedback pulse from the science department. From the engineering department, you're going to need engineering team, reverse shield polarity, emergency power to weapons, and directed energy modulation. And for tactical, you need tactical team, chemosite, beta, and 4. So you need 4 abilities from each department, really. And the extra ability here is just an added bonus. I like ships that allow you to have all 4 abilities. You might have to switch them around a bit, but it's comfortable to have all 4. And I might find I won't need science team on this ship, since it's got a lot of shielding. I could replace it for polarized hull later on when I complete the mastery, you never know. So now the next step is to go to the ship's customization officer and see if there's any interesting patterns to go on this ship. A nice paint job. Whoa, why does she look like the Nautilus? I've got a Nautilus tier 2 ship, I believe, that I did a video on once before, and it survived an ISA. And it looks like I don't have to pay for it, because I bought the tier 2 version. Or we could just go with the straight Nautilus look. Now, that is really good news that I can use the Nautilus look, because I love the old style look. The original series is why I got into Star Trek, and since this ship can have it, why not? You also get a bridge with this ship. It's the same as the paddling class, the Temporal battlecruiser. It's the same bridge, but that's fine. However, since I've got a dataless skin for this ship, I think I'm not going to use the default bridge. I think I'll use my Constitution bridge, because the custom bridge that comes with the ship, I've already got that on my Temporal battlecruiser, Paladin class. So on this one, I think I'll use the Constitution bridge because it fits the skin. And I might just leave the look like this. But only one type of windows. What about the hull? Yuck. Yucca. Even more yucky, although that does look nice and old. And that looks like it's been turned into a garbage scow, which is good. And that is a bit flamboyant. I think we just stick with it as it is. I like to put on, well, I can't put on my fleet logo. Well, that's just freaky. Yeah, I'm going to keep it as it is. So I will save it just for the hell of it. Make sure I load it twice. So the purchasing it is going to cost me 0 because I've already got a tier 2 dataless. When I tried to put an old style skin on my Temporal battlecruiser, it said it was going to cost me 13,000 Zen. And that's the same price as buying all these ships as a pack, so no way. So this is a pleasant surprise getting this skin for this ship. Purchase. So now we take our maiden flight to the edge of the solar system. Crack a bottle on the hull. We're launching a new ship. Hopefully the pattern remains on it. The skin. There she is. Yep, we've got the skin. That's good. Though you can't put your fleet emblem on this ship. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for a skin like this. So she's looking good. A tier 6 dataless class. So let's take our maiden flight to the edge of the solar system so we can get away from team buffs that these players probably have or are testing. She's not very fast, but then I haven't sorted out my power levels yet. The turn rate's okay. Yes, I think this is going to be a slow moving ship. But she's got lots of shielding, so it shouldn't really matter that she's slow. Maybe it's because I haven't hit full impulse. Or full impulse switched off as I passed Earth space dock. But she still does seem pretty slow. Pretty slow moving. I might have to boost her speed at some point. Okay, we're at the edge of the solar system. Cold's a little bright, but I like bright. That means Star Trek. Dark means Blade Runner. And I like the Star Trek sci-fi better. And it's a science ship, and I've just noticed that underneath its temporal abilities there's another item, probably the science scan, so I'm going to have to rearrange my HUD slightly so that I can have access to the science ability. Because that is always useful. Now I remove the default placings, the random placings of these tools, so I can arrange them the way I like them. It doesn't take long to do this. And make sure I've got tray 10 here, because this is all bound to my spacebar. So every time I hit my spacebar, one of these abilities will trigger in order of cooldowns. If you haven't bought the Temporal ship pack for 13,000 Zen, and you haven't got the Tier 2 Daedalus class, then you might not be able to use this skin. I believe this science vessel is known as the Nautilus class, is it not? I didn't pay much attention to what class it was. I just wanted it because my fleet can provide a fleet version of it. So, time to put the abilities back on. Place them where I'm comfortable having them. An engineering character in a science ship, is that a disaster waiting to happen? Don't need to put this ability on because it's already here. And so are these. There's 3 more there. I reckon this ship will be very survivable, but then sometimes appearances can be deceiving. Very survivable ship. Almost tank-like, I suppose. Am I missing an ability? No, I think I've got everything arranged normally. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. Now for the weapons. Normally I run with these disruptors, plus I put a Herald anti-proton beam on, but I haven't done that with this ship because it's only got 6 weapons. And sometimes the Herald beam doesn't benefit the build like it does on some ships. So I'm not going with a Herald anti-proton this time. Almost ready. I've got an old style shuttle pet. That was very fitting for this ship. Half of these tools I don't really need to put onto the toolbar, but I just do anyway. Okay, so that's the tool tray set. Next I will balance the powers, reset them, and then push the weapons all the way up, and then push the auxiliary all the way up. That helps feedback pulse, and it also helps the trait auxiliary power offensive, and just leave them where they lie. And then click the auto fire in order that you want the weapons to have power sent to them, because the power diminishes after each weapon. So there we go. Next, we save it to loadout slots. You get 2 free loadout slots with each ship. And now I make sure I save it a couple of times so that, to try and force the game to remember what it doesn't want to remember. I'm glad I bought that tier 2 Daedalus now. because it means I get to use the skin, which is quite frankly, it's made my day that I could make this ship look like a Daedalus. Save it another couple of times just to make damn sure. Although I bet you as soon as I change instances, the loadouts will not be clipped. So let's see what we ended up with. We've got 1,857 disruptor damage. Doesn't sound like it's going to end up as a 100k ship to me. But you never know. And we've got 118 power. That is not much. In fact, that is really poor. It should be 125 over 100. So let's see if we can do something about that. We might have to sacrifice shield drain. But let's have a look at the stats, see what we've ended up with. The hull, it's okay, it's not the best. The shielding is really good by the looks of things, and that's unmastered. Really good. Of course, the resistances probably come with mastery. But these numbers are very good for an unmastered ship. However, it hasn't got much flight speed or turn rate. Oh, I don't know about flight speed, but turn rate isn't much. Shield drain 190. I'm wondering if I put this on instead of an embassy console. Plus 25 disruptor damage. That ups it to from 1800 to 1900. Ups the weapon damage. It doesn't add any extra power. Now this adds plus 5 power. What does it do without that? Down to 13. It's essential. We might have to go without drain at all. Put on a 0-point module. Because that increases power, I think. Plus 2.2 to all power. Gives me a bit of extra crit chance as well. And improves shield drain and energy drain. So we've got less drain, but we still have drain. And the power has gone up to 120. I can't help but think I'm making a mistake somewhere with these power levels being so low. However, we've got good disruptor damage, and that's all I want to worry about. I'm just wondering if there's another console I've got somewhere that might increase the power level to 125. I don't think there's anything that's got an extra 5 power on it, 5 weapon power. got an extra 3 weapon power. I think I'm just going to stick with what I've got here. I have to make do with a lack of power on this ship, eh? Leech can make up some of that. Anyway, enough's enough. We're going to have to stick with 120 instead of 125. But that just means my weapons will drain quicker. Drain of energy quicker. Doesn't mean they'll hit any less harder, because they can only hit at 100%. They can't hit at 125. That's just the extra power. That 20. So I might not need extra power. So it looks like we're going to have to save the loadout again. I could put on tachyokinetic instead of leech, or to give it a little extra maneuverability, but with the shielding I don't think this ship's going to need a bit of extra maneuverability. And the shielding will come with mastery. So if it can take the hits, it doesn't need to maneuver so much. It doesn't need to get out the way so much. Although I do think I'm going to blow up in my first ISA with this ship. Let's have a look at the bridge. Takes a while to load a private instance like a bridge. Sorry if you can hear my tumble dryer spinning in the background. You just have to ignore that bit if you can hear it. This is by no means a comprehensive build. This is just me messing around. Ah, that's good. So the original bridge is here. And we can activate film grain on this ship to make it look like an old style, what is it, VHS or reel-to-reel film. Your darkness and specks, as if you're looking through an old analog camera. And we can deactivate grain for sharp focus. I wonder, does it allow you to go anywhere else on the ship? Oh yes, you get the full interior. This is just like my Temporal light cruiser. In fact, identical interior. I'll just have a quick run around to let people see what it all looks like. Whenever you come in here, I notice the patients are random NPCs and they change. They're not always the same patients. Each time you load, different patients appear. NPCs wandering around, bumping into each other, swapping their routes. So we get to add in some trophies. There's the Klingon trophy. Shelf 2. An Orion trophy. Shelf 3. Undying trophy. Shelf 4. Of course, Green trophy. And for the floor trophy, what else but Q. Give Q a seat if he wants to visit and lay judgment upon us. Also, if it's anything like the light cruiser, you can open the blast shutters. All the different bridge officers there. And now the conference lounge, which allows a couple more trophies to be put in. And this is where you have the account bank and the duty officer assignments. Now, if I remember rightly, we can use the Jeffries tube to go to another deck. Engineers prefer Jeffries tubes to turbo lifts. I do anyway, so let's go to the engineering deck and have a quick goosey around. Oh, an engineering. Is this the science lab? Yes, it is. Talk to scientist. The engine room. You can imagine Scotty standing here going, "Oh, me bearings, me poor wee bearings." No, we don't want to go to the turbo lift. We want to have a look at what else is here. If I remember rightly, we've got the transporter room, this small shuttle, and right at the end here we have a huge shuttle bay. This is one of the largest personal instances I've seen, open spaces on a personal instance I've seen in the game. It's almost as big as the Odyssey Bridge. I mean, you could set up a party ball in here and have a whole bunch of people, invite them into your bay and have a good old party. Anyway, let's check to see the loadout is still on the ship, which it isn't, of course. So let's go back to space. Now, the good thing about being down in the shuttle bay here is you can leave the bridge, you can leave the ship. You get the tab for leaving the ship on this part of the interior. Okay, so now we save the loadout again. Sometimes you have to change instances a couple of times to get it to remember that it's been saved and that it's activated. So I've got the shield drain, not as much as I would have with embassy consoles, and I don't have the plasma proc that those consoles provide either. But I've got a little extra damage and crit chance that might make up for it. So now that we've saved them again, let's go back to the ship interior to see if we can start an ISA. But it's always good to start an ISA from a ground location. That way you don't have as much animation upon leaving your ship and entering the ISA match. Make sure the loadout's still there, which it is, that's good. So what we do now is we prepare the combat log for starting. Go into team chat. And then we will queue for an ISA. Shouldn't take too long to pop. And we'll get to see what this ship does damage-wise with this makeshift slap-up quick build. Get ready to start the log when the game pops. Looks like somebody who queued didn't accept the invite, so it's going to reset and offer the invite to someone else. Here we go. And combat log started. Brand new ship, maiden battle against the Borg, and I have a feeling it's going to blow up. I have a feeling. Some ships do on their first test. Someone got in there well early. Whoa! Whoa, 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 no, no, don't do this to me. I've gotten distracted now. Got to fret a little less on this ship. And the ISA is going to fail. And it failed. Optional failed. Oh well. Them's the brakes. So now we've got to clean up those nanite spheres. I threw everything I had because I could see this optional failing, so I threw everything I had at that transformer, but it wasn't enough. Mop up those nanite spheres, or else it will just keep healing the transformer. It's a bit of a disaster as I say so far, but them's the brakes. Might as well mop up the rest of the spheres. No point rushing anymore. How the hell am I still alive? I must admit though, this ship is pretty fun to fly. Looks like somebody's got annoyed and gone all the way over there. So I've decided what the hell, optional's gone. Might as well have fun instead. Well, so much for DPS run. They might have thought I was in a tier 2 ship, because I did do a few ISAs in a tier 2 ship, and they thought, no point in playing hard if we've got a tier 2 ship in here. Foregone conclusion, it will fail with a tier 2 ship, but it's not tier 2. Now onto the gate at last, and I'm dying again. Whoa, that was some lag. So I called in fleet support and Delta recruits in the same match. And got off anti-time twice. end the combat log. And I don't suppose anybody's interested in the DPS from that match. I suspect somebody got lagged out or something, because there was a little bit of lag there. And that's probably why it failed. But still, let's go back to Earth's solar system and have a look at the combat log results of a ISA with failed optional. Okay, let's browse for today's log, the latest one. Wait for it to analyze. 72k. That's not bad, considering the way that match went. And when you look here, these people probably did have some sort of connection problem by the looks of things. Either that or they wanted to try and run with as low a DPS as possible. You never know. But 72k, 68% of the team. Yes, these people, they probably did have a connection problem, because there was a slight bit of lag for me, so it could have been worse for them. And the person who came second died 3 times, so there must have been something going on in that match. But my power levels, they spike at the beginning as they always do, then steadily climb, but also a little drop off towards the end. Not much though, nothing to worry about. And the damage. So this ship had more than twice the DPS of the rest of the team put together. But as I say, it was a glitched match. Must have been. 28 kills, 28 crit rate, a hit rate of 100%, hit by rate of 91.3%. Coalitions did so-so. Entropic Rider, Tenant Task Force, Feedback Pulse did well, better than I normally have it on ships. Directed Energy Modulation did well. Chemosite, about average. And let's have a look at the outgoing damage. Total DPS for the disruptors was 41k. And got the kill shot on the one of the transformers, the cube, the tactical cube, not the gate, another transformer, one of the normal cubes, another of the normal cubes, and not that one. So what is that, 6 out of the 8 big targets? Got the kill shot on. Doesn't mean I did the most damage though. Probably did though in that match, since I was the least glitchy. So there you have it. 72k from a Temporal science vessel straight out of the box. So I'm very happy with that. Its survivability wasn't too great, but I was worried about its speed and turn rate, but they seem to be okay. It's just its survivability wasn't that great, but that will probably come with mastery, because that's what the mastery is all about. I'm curious to see what class of ship this is. I believe it's the Nautilus class. Yeah, Temporal Science Vessel Tier 6 Nautilus class. So 72k straight out of the box from the Nautilus class ship. I'm going to end the video here. With my normal around 5,000 mastery points from an ISA, that's normal. And I'm going to end the video here. And the next video with this ship you're going to see is me trying to level up some of this mastery. But until then, this from the Meriki Command Fleet. This is Fleet Admiral Alt Lexington. See you in part 2. Bye.